What if the biggest reason millions of people never become wealthy isn't because they earn too little? It's because they spend too much energy looking like they're already rich. Think about it. A luxury car parked outside an apartment. A designer watch bought with monthly payments. The newest phone replacing one that worked perfectly yesterday. From the outside, it looks like success. But behind the scenes, credit card balances, car loans, paychecks disappearing before they even arrive. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Many of the people who appear wealthy are financing an image instead of building real wealth. And that's exactly why so many people stay trapped. Because the habits that make someone look rich are often the exact habits that prevent them from ever becoming rich. By the end of this video, you'll see why this trap is becoming more dangerous than ever, and how the truly wealthy play a completely different game. Most people think money is about math, income, expenses, investments, but money is often about psychology. Every day you're competing in a game you never agreed to play, not against billionaires, not against your coworkers, against everyone's highlight reel. Open social media for 5 minutes. Someone just bought a new sports car. Someone else is flying business class. Someone is showing off an expensive apartment with floor-to-ceiling windows. It feels like everyone is moving ahead, so your brain quietly asks a dangerous question. Am I falling behind? That's where the spending begins. Not because you needed something, because you wanted proof that you're doing okay. Here's the irony. Most luxury purchases aren't bought to impress strangers. They're bought to silence our own insecurities. Imagine explaining to your future self, "Sorry, I delayed financial freedom because I really needed those limited edition sneakers." It sounds ridiculous. Yet millions of people unknowingly make versions of that decision every single week. And the companies selling these products understand something most people don't. They aren't selling shoes. They aren't selling watches. They aren't even selling cars. They're selling identity. And identity is one of the most expensive things you can ever finance. But this is only the surface. Because the real trap isn't what you buy. It's what those purchases quietly steal from your future. Here's a question almost nobody asks before making a purchase. What is this money worth if I never spend it? Not next month. Not next year. 20 years from now. Every unnecessary purchase has two prices. The price on the receipt and the future wealth it could have created. That's the number most people never see. A few $100s here. A financed luxury upgrade there. Another monthly payment that doesn't seem too bad. Individually, they feel harmless. Together, they quietly become thousands. Then hundreds of thousands. Lost not because of bad luck, but because compound growth never got the chance to work. This is why wealth doesn't usually disappear in one dramatic moment. It leaks away through ordinary decisions that feel completely normal. That's what makes this trap so dangerous. It doesn't look like a mistake. It looks like success. And while millions keep chasing appearances, a much smaller group is doing something almost invisible. They're buying assets while everyone else is buying applause. That quiet difference changes everything. Because once you understand what truly wealthy people optimize for, you'll never look at money or status the same way again. The difference between appearing wealthy and actually becoming wealthy isn't income. It's where your money goes after you earn it. Most people assume that wealthy people simply buy more expensive things. In reality, many wealthy people buy fewer things than you'd expect. Because they understand a simple principle. Every dollar has a job. It can either buy a lifestyle today or buy freedom tomorrow. It rarely does both. That's why the people who build lasting wealth often look surprisingly ordinary. Their car isn't the newest model. Their clothes don't scream luxury. Their phone is used until it actually needs replacing. Not because they can't afford more. Because they know something that isn't obvious. Real wealth is often invisible. The expensive car catches your attention. The investment portfolio doesn't. The designer jacket gets compliments. The shares quietly compounding in the background don't. The vacation gets posted online. The growing net worth stays private. Our brains are naturally drawn to what's visible, which makes it easy to confuse signals of spending with signals of wealth. But they're not the same thing. One is consumption. The other is ownership. And ownership is what changes your future. Here's a question worth thinking about. If two people each earn $100,000 a year, why does one retire early while the other lives paycheck to paycheck? The answer usually isn't talent. It isn't luck. It's the direction of their cash flow. One person's paycheck immediately flows toward liabilities, monthly payments, subscriptions, lifestyle upgrades, and purchases that lose value over time. The other person's paycheck is quietly redirected toward assets, investments, productive businesses, retirement accounts, and opportunities that have the potential to grow. From the outside, their lives may look almost identical, but underneath, they're moving in completely opposite directions. One is financing the present. The other is building the future. That's the quiet decision that compounds year after year. Think about this. Imagine planting a tree, then digging it up every weekend just to prove you own one. Sounds absurd, right? That's exactly what lifestyle inflation looks like. Every raise becomes permission to spend more. A nicer apartment, a newer car, a more expensive vacation, a bigger monthly payment. Instead of increasing freedom, a higher income often increases financial pressure. The finish line keeps moving, and no matter how much you earn, it never feels like enough. That's why so many high-income earners still feel financially trapped. The problem isn't a lack of money. It's a lack of margin. Here's where the story takes an unexpected turn. The wealthiest people don't obsess over looking successful. They obsess over creating options. Options to leave a job they dislike. Options to take a year off. Options to start a business. Options to invest when everyone else is panicking. Money isn't just about buying things. It's about buying time, buying flexibility, buying peace of mind, and those things rarely fit inside an Instagram post. There's a reason the phrase quiet wealth keeps appearing in conversations about money. The strongest financial position often doesn't announce itself. It doesn't need validation. It doesn't rely on approval from strangers. It grows steadily, often unnoticed. While everyone else competes in a race for attention, quiet wealth competes for something far more valuable: freedom. But there's one final piece that separates people who eventually become wealthy from those who only look wealthy. It's a mindset shift that changes every financial decision you make. Once you see it, it's difficult to unsee, and it might completely redefine what success means to you. The biggest financial breakthrough rarely happens when someone gets a higher salary. It happens when they stop asking one question: can I afford this? And start asking a much better one: what is this decision costing my future? That single shift changes everything. Suddenly, every purchase becomes more than a transaction. It's a choice between two versions of your life: the version that wants immediate validation, or the version that wants lasting freedom. Because money isn't just something you spend. It's stored time. Every dollar represents hours of your life that you traded for it. When you spend impulsively, you're not only giving up money, you're giving up a piece of your future freedom. That's why financially successful people often delay gratification. Not because they're naturally more disciplined, not because they don't enjoy nice things, but because they understand that freedom becomes easier to buy when you're patient. And patience is one of the few advantages available to everyone. Let's run a quick thought experiment. Imagine two people, both 25 years old. They earn the same salary. The first spends every raise upgrading their lifestyle. The apartment gets bigger. The car payment gets higher. The vacations become more expensive. Everything looks impressive, but every new upgrade comes with another monthly obligation. Now imagine the second person. Their lifestyle improves too, but slowly and intentionally. Instead of chasing every status symbol, they direct more of each raise toward investments, emergency savings, and assets that can grow over time. Fast forward 15 years. From the outside, the first person may have looked wealthier for most of that journey, but beneath the surface, their financial life has become increasingly fragile. The second person, they've quietly built choices. They can change careers without panic, take time off without fear, invest during market downturns instead of watching from the sidelines, sleep at night knowing one unexpected expense won't derail their future. That's the difference. One person purchased appearances. The other purchased options, and options are one of the greatest forms of wealth. Here's something worth remembering. The world constantly rewards visible success. Luxury brands reward it. Social media rewards it. Advertising depends on it. But financial independence rewards something completely different: consistency, patience, long-term thinking, the willingness to look ordinary while building something extraordinary. Here's a funny question. If no one could ever see your car, your clothes, or your phone, would you still buy them? If the answer is no, maybe you weren't buying them for yourself in the first place. That's an uncomfortable thought. But sometimes the most uncomfortable questions create the most valuable answers. Real wealth isn't measured by how many people think you're successful. It's measured by how much control you have over your own life. Can you handle unexpected setbacks? Can you invest when opportunities appear? Can you make decisions based on your goals instead of your next paycheck? That's what wealth looks like. Not louder, just stronger. So, the next time you're tempted to buy something simply because it signals success, pause for a moment. Ask yourself, am I investing in my future? Or renting someone else's approval? That one question could save you years of financial frustration. Because the people who become truly wealthy aren't trying to impress the room. They're quietly building a life where they no longer need to. If you found this perspective valuable, there's one more shift you need to understand. Many people focus only on their spending habits, but they completely overlook one of the biggest forces shaping every investment, loan, mortgage, and financial opportunity: interest rates. When they move in unusual ways, history shows they can reshape entire economies and create opportunities that most people don't recognize until it's too late. Click on the video now appearing on your screen. The last time interest rates did this, everything changed. It connects perfectly with what you learned today, and it will help you understand why the biggest financial decisions are often influenced by forces most people never pay attention to. I'll see you in the next video.